Hi, so we have Hailey with us today, and both her and her son have food allergies and intolerances. So I'd love for you to just start off by telling me a little bit more about that, how you guys were diagnosed with them, and what it's like to live with them today.
Yes. So excited that you're doing this, by the way. We're a lot of fun to eat out with. People are always like, are you guys serious? So my name's Haely and my son's name is Carter. He's 4.5 and my age is timeless. But the biggest issue is I think having different allergies, there's just so much that we want to be able to create that we could eat together too. That's a whole other part of it. But with Carter, we found out when he was a baby, I gave him a little bit of egg and I'll never forget it. It was so traumatizing. We were at a park and suddenly I heard him coughing and I was like, God, he's coughing a lot. I was pushing him in a stroller and I looked down, he's covered in vomit, full hives breaking out. I'm by myself. I'm like a new mom. I'm like stripping his clothes off, wrapping him like in a cloth, just carrying him to this like bougie brunch place. And everyone was just like eating their eggs Benedict, like looking at me. And I'm like crying. I'm like, my baby. It felt very traumatic at the time. But I rushed him to the regular doctor that gave him Benadryl and it went down. But that was the moment that I realized, okay, there's something big happening here that we need to figure out. So from there, we got a blood test done. And that was how we were able to figure out that he has one of the highest peanut allergies they've ever seen. And then we also were able to deduce he also has an allergy to like mustard seed. I figured that out just through seeing like breakouts and stuff. I've been to the hospital with him 3 times. And it got to be kind of like familiar, which was weird. But now we're in a program where they're basically giving him little doses to get his immune system up to being able to tolerate everything in 3 to 4 years.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
are they predicting that he's going to not be allergic or intolerant after the microdoses?
Yeah. They're saying by 3 to 4 years, they have a 99% success rate.
Wow.
It's called the SoCal Food Institute. There it is. And the research wasn't really there, kind of what you're doing. You know, it still feels like people are finally figuring out what this is. And so this one doctor set out to figure it out. And yeah, it's very complicated. It's incredible what they've done, but it's worth it. You know, when the stakes are so high, it's like they'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome program. And I'm glad you brought it up on this call.
Yeah, I feel lucky to live in California, but I haven't heard of any other programs that are doing that yet, although they are opening up other offices. So
yeah, very cool. And so what about your intolerances?
Mm-hmm. It's like my whole life I had stomach issues, right? I always was in pain. And then I was able to figure out that gluten was a huge part of it and like heavy cream and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anything that's delicious in life, it was like, I would just have to pay for it. I'm like, oh, this is really the karma I get. But it's so interesting. I still am struggling with it. I was diagnosed with IBS and then recently through tons of testing diagnosed with SIBO. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing antibiotics for that, but I don't think it's helped. So I'm like, still figuring this out. It feels like a weird amount of time to still be not knowing exactly what it is. Because IBS is so broad, right? It's like, so.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that because that's all the clients that I work with as well.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like you kind of still go gluten-free, you still go dairy-free, and you still like don't know what your intolerances are. So that's interesting. But yeah, SIBO, like IBS, those are all like really big markers of gut health issues. And so I would definitely look into elimination diet there as well.
I know, that was suggested to me. And I was like, oh gosh, like my naturopath keeps being like, we should just do the elimination diet. And I'm like, I'll do antibiotics. Yeah. I'll do no dairy. I'll do no gluten. But I think I might be at that point where it's like, come on,
Yeah, some things you can't always put a Band-Aid on, unfortunately, which sucks.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm living that truth in my life. It's all about the root, and even with Carter, it's like, we've done so much. And it's like funny how I'll do it for him, but for myself, I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll just deal with the pain.
Right. Absolutely. So. Yeah. It's a little different when it's your child. You're like, oh, well, it's my child. Like,
yeah.
More.
I'm like, take all my money, whatever it takes. I mean, you should see like the amount of stuff I give to him every day. It's insane, actually.
That's crazy. So what is it like for you two to eat out together?
Oh my God, it's a total nightmare. We have to call the restaurant ahead. First of all, it's really embarrassing in a group because I don't think of myself as high maintenance, but it's like it's very it's also scary to be honest. Like with Carter because it is so high, I have to call ahead. We completely avoid anything that would ever have nuts. Thai, Chinese, anything that kind of has that type of stuff that's just in the food.
Right.
We just are constantly eating Mexican, and I'm so tired of Mexican. I feel like that's our mutual safe place. So we cook a lot. My husband and I cook a lot, and we kind of just know our go-tos, and we don't stray much from that.
You do go out or like try a new place or travel. What does that pre-process look like for you?
I'm all up in the Yelp. I'm calling ahead. If I feel like they don't understand what I'm asking, we don't go there. Because a lot of times they'll be like, yes, no, let me check. I don't think it has egg. I don't know if it has peanuts. And you're like the stakes are so high. So I just have to make sure that I completely am like communicating with the person. It's a lot of phone calls. You know, when we were traveling, we drove to Colorado for the holidays, and it was exhausting. I'm just like on the phone with all these places, and I'm just like, please, no Mexican. We end up just getting the same thing that we always get, you know? So,
In Denver as well?
yeah, I mean, also because of COVID, we weren't eating out a lot, but yeah, I'm always calling ahead and we're having to vet it several times,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And so are you or your son anaphylaxis to any of the allergens?
Yeah, so my son is very, yeah. So we carry EpiPen multiple everywhere we go. It's at his school. It's like a part of our life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Given that we're trying to create these kinds of resources where it's making that information far more accessible, what would it be like if you had a menu that listed like what was an egg-free option or just like the top 8 allergens, like what was available to you, and then broke down like the cross-contact procedures that restaurant took, so you don't have to call and like ask every restaurant in
I
advance.
like can't even imagine that. Like I didn't even know. I'm like so happy that you're thinking to do this because the world has needed this. And I think if there's people like us,
Mhm.
there's got to be so many millions of people. And I mean, what a difference in lifestyle it is. You're truly going to change lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like super important, I think, to be vocal about it as well, because a lot of times with food allergies, it's the tendency is to be like, I'll just stay at home, I'll just cook, it's so much easier. And so then no, like restaurants don't really know that there's people out there that need it because nobody's going out or you're going to the same 3 places.
No, that's so true. I didn't even think of that. It's almost like they need to be aware so they can continue to push and it's a lot
Right.
of pressure on them too. And I always feel bad. I don't want to put all the pressure on them, like with my son's life.
Yeah.
So, but it's like if there's already something that exists, so I don't have to keep like bothering these people.
Right.
It's just
Exactly.
better for everybody.
Yeah, right. So, because a
Yeah.
good example is like nut-free facilities. When I went to vet restaurants all around Denver, I found so many restaurants that just don't have nuts in their kitchen at all.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's obviously not advertised in any way. So people that are really anaphylactic to nuts, like they wouldn't really know unless they ask. But the restaurant, I would be like, "What is nut-free on your menu?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we just like don't have nuts here." And so that would be like really great information to
Yeah.
know. Same thing with eggs. Like some people just don't have eggs in the restaurant like at all. So
Like bridge the gap.
yeah,
Like us over here was like, I cannot have another quesadilla or I'm gonna like barf.
right,
And then they're over here like, yeah, we don't have nuts and no one knows. It just feels
exactly.
like a missed opportunity. So
Right. Because it's like it already exists within their facility. They don't have to change anything.
mhm.
Nobody really knows about it, which is the sad part.
It's so sad. It's like the most tragic thing.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
absolutely. How does that make you feel that you have to call in advance right now?
Honestly, it's just become part of our life. I think when you have a kid with any type of ailment, it's not like I don't give myself space to be like, oh, like to really, it's just kind of matter of fact.
Yeah.
Um, it's annoying if I'm going to be honest, because it's always something that you have to think about. And I'll tell you what is also hard with like kids like parties, like every single birthday party with a 2, 3-year-old. Now he gets it, he knows, but a cake comes out and all the kids rush and he can never have any.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's some fruit snacks, so that was always hard for us as well. Like emotionally, just to see how hard it was for him. But now he's really articulate. It's actually really cool because he's like, does it have eggs, nuts, or mustard seed? And he knows how to like really,
Yeah. No.
ask. There's a bakery here that I've fallen in love with. I think it's in LA and New York, called Aaron McKenna Bakery. And it's so good. So now like the moms have been so amazing in my group. They always will go there and get stuff for Carter.
Love it.
But yeah, also I found I bake a lot, and the best substitute if you have an egg allergy, you can just substitute applesauce in, and like everything
Yeah.
it works. It's like a miracle. So
Yeah, same thing for gluten. Like if you add applesauce or like Greek yogurt into the flours, it makes it like more moist.
oh yeah, sometimes you don't have gluten and you're like, I know why gluten exists, because it's like
Right.
yeah,
A little chalky.
a little, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much for taking the time. I love this conversation. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with parents of food allergy kids or just people who have intolerances in general?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that has any questions about the SoCal Food Institute, if you live in Los Angeles or you're looking to travel and you want to get your kid into it, I would love to just be here as a resource too, for anybody. It's been incredible, and it's really exciting to have hope after you kind of give up having hope on something. So it's kind of like a really great light.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, I'm excited about what you're doing. Can't wait.
Thanks. Bye.